A pleasant afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I am Makomborero alongside Miss Kelly. How are you doing, Miss Kelly?
I'm doing very well. How are you today?
I am feeling amazing. This is our first recording, our first episode of the K&M podcast, and we'll be talking about financial literacy, how the youth can navigate.
Yeah. We are excited to be here.
Exactly. So for our pilot episodes, we'll be talking about financial literacy, what the youth can do, what they need to know, and how they can go about this hurdle. Because I believe for most, itori nyaya hombe kai kuti mari yacho inombobatwa sei, or how do you do when you earn it, who do you talk to, and stuff like that.
So, from what McCoy has said, we, as the generation of people who have grown to become adults, we haven't gotten the time and chance or opportunities to learn these things. Stuff like financial literacy, how we go about planning, how we go about spending, how we go about investing, debt management, credit, or insurance. Retirement planning, these things we are not told about them. So we then end up maneuvering through life with just a rough idea of what we think is right, and the winners win.
True.
And well, most of the averages then end up losing. So that is why we are here today. We want to talk about it so that at least if you get one or two, you make a story out of it. So
True.
that you benefit, I benefit, and the world benefits.
Exactly. I think as young people who want to be somewhere in the future, it's a good starting point. If you know what to do with the little that you have, I believe that you can push towards greater achievements. Because if you can't save $1, million yacho unozomboisevha sei chokwadi kana wachitadza kuti dhora chairo. There are principles behind this, and today Miss Kelly and I will be diving deep into them. So let's start off with basically what's the importance of young people understanding this? What do you think, Miss Kelly, kuti zvakakosherei kuti tinge tine financial literacy?
Well, I think number one, it makes you make informed decisions. So like financial literacy then enables us to make informed decisions about our financial. So I would know that I have $100 and this is how I'm going to allocate my funds to suit, be it a lifestyle, whatever that you want to use your money for. But at least you would know why you're using it, rather than when you save $100 and you walk in town, you just know you have $100 and you can spend it.
Yes,
so you end up doing impulse buying and stuff like that. And another importance, maybe it then gives us financial stability, where it then helps individuals manage stuff like debt, save for emergencies, and achieve long-term financial goals.
Very, very true.
Or maybe another thing, it also does, make us create wealth, rather, where it then provide people with the knowledge to grow their wealth through investing, maybe in other financial strategies. And also, one very important thing is, say, it reduces financial stress. When you know how to manage your money, outside of just money.
Very
because
true.
Money,
Very true.
So then it helps us to understand and manage financial risks, reducing financial stress and anxiety. Like sometimes a person who works for $50, and sometimes when you calculate then you spend your money during the month. So what then do? You are now worried sakana 50 to take me through the rest of the month. But now when you know how to manage your funds, you then squeeze it to suit however your lifestyle is like, so that you're not very worried about the future when it comes to money.
That's very true, Miss Kelly. Tiripa point here. I think one of the greatest issues that we face when it comes to finance as young people, it's quite to close the gap between reality and expectations. what we have on the ground and what we expect to have. I think if we manage to merge the two, if we manage to merge expectations and reality when it comes to finance, tinokwanisa kubudirira zviri nani. The reason why I say this is that we could be in a situation yekuti, let's say, like you said, the reality is that I earn $50 a month. Ndichiena $50 a month, that's the reality of things. I have the expectations that say a 25-year-old, I expect to find out ndikufana kunotengera, like mama, let's say I have to buy my girlfriend a gift, I have to buy myself some clothes, I have to enjoy, I have to do so many things. That's the expectation. But when we fail to make those two meet, when we fail to make the expectation yekuti ndofana kunge ndichita zvinezvi the reality yekuti nde $50 meet, that's where we get financial stress. Ndopainozonzi haisi kukwana, haisi kuita sei. And I think if we're able to accept kuti sure at certain stages of life as youth, there are some things we will not be able to afford, and it's fine. What paving our way towards financial independence is a starting point. Accept kuti nemari yandinayo I should not be spending zviri haphazard or zvisiri within my bounds, overspending and trying to sort of like prove a point. Have you ever come across a situation unenge une point yauda uprove?
And this also some of us, like, I think one big thing is we have to wake up from this big sleep of peer pressure. That's number one. Number two, family pressure. Now that we're grown, like like growing up, we used to have my aunties. Now we have grown to become those aunties. You now understand, it's sort of like when you don't have money, especially in family gatherings. When you can make a story, so we have to family pressure when death, just me and death, we are supposed to be as families. We are crying over a deceased somebody whom we loved, and we are here today, and we are, giving each other the comfort we all need. People don't look at that anymore. To just prove the point that I'm working, so it then loses the whole essence of what personal growth.
Yes, very true.
You because you're trying to prove so it's basically you living for other people rather than living for yourself.
Exactly.
So like, when you are earning $250, you're true with Maria doing but in any normal month, ndikwanira. Ndakutadza kutoimanager nhasi because ndafana kutoenda kunhamo kwekuti musoro wangu unofana kurikiswa $150. When I come back from there handisisina mari manje, I'm going back to she. So it then gives us this round umbrella term that if you don't have discipline when it comes to this financial planning, at the end of the day, it defeats the whole purpose of you then lie to yourself and say, no, I'm doing this. Yes, it's fun in the beginning. But with discipline now, you are then able to say, you know what, dopandiri, and I'm content. Yes, you must be very aggressive for the future. You must want more things, but there's nothing wrong with where you are. You can always start from wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Chakakosha is the start. If you are able to sit down and to tell yourself, I am starting to make an informed decision. I will not live to prove other people. I will not live to try and make it's something like a fake, sort of like you're trying to portray someone we are not. You're trying to fake it. If we're able to overcome that, I think tunosvika kure.
Chimwe chinhu ndechekuti makomborero would then see clearly as, I've worked before you. I'm now earning this much. Maybe I haven't been earning a lot, but the fact that I've earned before most of my peers. You start to see that, no, Sis Kelly can buy me ice cream. Sis Kelly can do this for me because she's been in the game for quite some time. Now, Sis Kelly doesn't want Marco to know that Madavan. We don't have money. We don't have money. Sometimes you're saving for this big thing, but Marco wants you to take them to the cinema. Now you're going to go out of your way. You are going to want to make Marco happy. But if we are being true to ourselves, I think it's only important. It's okay to make sacrifices 1 or 2 days, but it's important to be true to self
and to remember the goal.
Because what we have are long-term goals, and these long-term goals are fulfilled by nitty-gritties, the small things that we then try to then put together in a day space, in a week space, in a month space. Then these whole things will then make up the goal that we've been living for.
Exactly.
Pull away, you get it sort of like a back pedal. Now you're trying to cover 2 steps instead of 1.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And if like we've been mentioning, kuti tikakwanisa kuita overcome this like curtain that closes, the curtain that is put upon us by society, by how things are and the likes. If we're able to move past it, we can like start to make real informed decisions. Notibatsira kuti tinge tichionerawo panyaya dzefinance apo. So I think pama common mistakes atabata, we're trying to live a fake life, atina discipline. We can see that most of these things are things that we can change if we're able to change our mindset. Tomboti tabudirira ta change our mindset. Sengwana mdiki, as a young person in society, I've managed to overcome this. What's my next step? Tomboti ndine $100. What do you think? What can we do in $100? I'm earning $100 a month. Do I need to put it aside? What do I do? Do I track it? What do I use? What are the tools that are accessible to me as a young person? Kuti nditange kuti ndakusave mari, ndakubudgeta.
Before we go there, it's a very important question, the one that you just asked now. But how can we improve? How can we improve financial literacy? Because but how can I improve myself when it comes to my financial state, when it comes to my financial being? Right. How can I improve?
Also, let's just say, Truguti, the listener, wherever they are, you might be in Harare, in Marondera, wherever you are, listener, you don't have anything with past 0. Truguti, we have solutions, and we are going to try and dive into those solutions. Kuti, where should you start?
Yes. So, number one, you can start with education, like educating yourself, child. You start taking courses, attending my workshops, or maybe participate in my online tutorials to improve financial knowledge. It's everywhere. Like people are saying then social media is destroying the younger generation and stuff like that. But if it's put to good use, you will come out with one or two. So things. It's very important that you try to educate yourself and reading. People, we've got to read.
Very true.
Be a reader.
Be a reader. Read as much as possible. Read when it's raining. Read when it's not raining. When it's what? Just read.
When you die on your way to heaven, read.
Read something. That is very true.
Read books. Yes, read books, articles, blogs on personal finance and investing, stuff like that. Make yourself account for everything that you want to do, what you want to become.
Exactly. I think the fact that we should all understand, if we're going to win this game, is that when it comes to finance, when it comes to money, these things have principles. And principles have been written by experts. They know, they've been there. It might be local, it might be foreign. We'll share these books. They are books that Miss Kelly and I have read and we have exchanged. The Psychology of Money, Rich Dad Poor Dad. There are so many books out there. It's not that you should read them all. We always say this, Miss Kelly, I remember. It's not that you should read all the books, but there's just one book that you read, and it might be even one chapter that you read. To change the entire set. I always talk about The Richest Man in Babylon. One of the greatest books ever I've read when it comes to finance. So you don't have to read them all, but at least find one and read.
And sometimes from the whole book, you may find just a phrase.
Just a phrase.
Just a phrase, yes, that can transform the whole narrative. Also, the other thing, maybe seeking professional advice. Seeking consultations with maybe financial advisors, planners to receive personalized guidance. We live with them. It's not a matter of just forking out money to pay someone. If you've got the money, go and do it. But it's not always about the money that you pay someone. Sometimes they are our parents, they are our aunties, they are our friends, they are our pastors. These people know those things.
Exactly.
Try to seek it, yes. Try to seek it and get it.
Exactly. So, dear listener, wherever you are, it's not that yes, you might not have a job, you might not have a steady income, you might not have a business, but at least push yourself. I know that you have something interest in. And people who are in the field, but you've never really asked them how it works. You've never really talked to them about that. Maybe they don't even know you were into that. It's not that. I think there's this great belief for you to plan things like budgeting and the likes. Of course, money is a factor in it all. But the starting point, you start from zero. Awutange win 100,000 or anything. You start from zero, like Miss Kelly has been saying. Reach out to those people, talk to them, show that you have an idea. When it comes to funding and capital, I have seen miracles. Money comes to where there is a path set. If you are able to show that you are truly vested and you're truly invested in whatever you're trying to do, money will come. That's when you start seeing the budgets actually work and the likes, everything actually works. It comes to those who have a plan.
And also, like, some other things that we then need to look at are practical experiences. This is the bottom line of after all has been said and done. We're saying, once we've talked about this, once we've done researches, once we've learned, once we've read, once we've sought professional advice, let's do the practical experience.
Exactly.
Let's apply financial concepts in real life situations, like through budgeting. Sometimes I was talking to a friend yesterday and he was telling me, Kelly, I'm working so hard. I'm not earning much, but at least I have to live my best life. You may have $2 now, but for that $2, you should tell yourself, today I'm just going to freeze it.
Exactly. Exactly. That is very true. And in this day and age, I think that in this day and age, the tools that are at your disposal when it comes to finance, as a young person, you have the access to the internet, you maybe have your laptop. You don't have to be an accountant to be able to write up a budget. Sit down, track the things that you need, the expenses that you have, whether it's airtime, no matter how small. Airtime $1, write it down. Freeze it, write it down. Track your expenses, see where you're overspending, and plan it out. If you're saving towards something as simple as Excel, it can be a versatile tool. You can track. Exactly, you can track your expenditure from January to December. It doesn't have to be $1,000. Track them per phone parko. Always have, like Miss Kelly mentioned, you budget your things. Impulse buying. une $100,
Right.
you earn $100, but udawufamba une $100 more, and you earn $100. If you earn $100, this is a principle that I got from The Richest Man in Babylon. Earning
All right.
$100 doesn't mean that you earn $100. No. Uchada visa transport, visa lunch, maybe visa rent. I'm assuming it's the 250 or something like that. When you sit down and you work out the expenses, you'll find that from when all is said and done, when all the bills have been paid, all the expenses have been dealt with, you find that you earn a fraction of what you earn. And it's per fraction ipapo, when we're talking about, I think it's something we're going to touch. Miss Kelly, we are well versed in this. Per fraction iyoyo zvitambirise. Per fraction iyoyo yawinayo zvitambirise. Pane
ndipo pay 10.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Kuti, when you earn your money, the principle that was the main principle from The Richest Man in Babylon was that if you're earning $200, the principle is that set aside 10% of that. When you set aside 10% of that, you're setting aside $20. It means pane 180 asara e. This is what's supposed to deal with everything. Live within that, with all the expenses you need, and so on and so forth. So each and every month that you earn that 200, set aside the 20. Zvitambirise 20 yoyo. 10 months down the line, at one give and go, une mari yemwedzi yawinayo, cash in hand, yawazvitambirisa negore one. It's something that may seem small, it may seem funny, but that's the beginning of financial independence, because the idea is that we're trying to bridge the gap between the fact that and funding or paying for the dreams that you have. You have that business that you want to start, that little something that has been bothering you in the back of your mind, but you can't afford to do it. Pave way towards that dream by funding it yourself. Bijana.
Right. That by improving our financial literacy, like as young people. Us saying this today, it doesn't mean that we are financial gurus.
Yes, that's true.
Listen, we also want your advice on certain stuff.
Very true.
We need each other in the world. What I know and what you know may be two different things, but maybe if we put it together, we can make a dynamite.
Exactly.
So all I'm trying to say is, by improving our financial literacy as individuals, we can take control of our financial lives and achieve financial stability and build wealth over time. It's not a miracle that just, miracles do happen if you're a believer. I am one. But it's not something that just happens overnight.
Yeah, that's very true.
We need to put in the work, the sweat it has to do down from our foreheads, from the top of our heads. We need to work for it. That's just basically what I think.
That's very, very true. And I think as youth, like we mentioned earlier in the discussion, if we understand the principle, when it comes to money, and this is just Kelly and I sharing, like she said, we're not gurus or anything, but we should understand that there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, of which from my point of view, it's wealth is what really sets people aside. It's a bit different. Being rich is a bit of a flashy kind of setup where you're showing people that you have the Bugatti, you have the Rolex and the likes. Being wealthy is when you are able to finance, or you're able to fund the things you want when you want. And this can only be achieved through delayed gratification. Like just delayed gratification. Don't justify the fact that because I'm young, because I'm in my 20s, why should I bother? Why should I listen to because I'm in my 20s, Kelly and Marco are telling me save. Why should I save? I'm in my 20s, I should go and have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20s will come to an end. And if you are not prepared, It won't be pretty. It won't be pretty. So we're just trying to raise awareness. The time is now. Always delay the gratification. Always tell yourself that no, the fun will come. We're not saying don't have fun or don't go out and the likes, but at least work in percentages, work in fractions of your earnings. Don't overdo it, don't overspend it, don't try to prove a point. Just try as much as possible to pave way towards more, because we believe that the foundation of where you are is going to build towards something big. We're trying to tap into the potential. Maybe you're seated out there, you're thinking about a project where you're going to be a tech entrepreneur, you want to buy tech, what you call computer accessories like mouses, laptops, or software stuff. Maybe you're somewhere out there and you want to get there. The way you can get there is by practicing the discipline that we've been preaching throughout. Just trying as much as possible to understand that you don't get there by splashing the little you have every day. You get there by suffering now for a better tomorrow.
That's all there is to it. We need to, like when we make Lucrative, we need to put the energy, the emotions, everything that comes with it. All we are looking at is the money, the dollar at the end of the tunnel. So we need to be very ready and prepared to fight whatever it is that needs to be fought along the way. And also, maybe just to leave a tip of healthy financial habits, what I would say is, as a young person, rather, let's live below our means. Because if we live within our means, $100 no quadrilla but if we live below, we're able to save. And what happens when we save? We invest.
We invest, exactly. When we save, we invest.
We then can invest, yes. But investment, yes.
Yeah.
What are we investing in?
Very, very true. Very, very true. So, I believe that when it comes to selecting what you want to invest in, and like we mentioned before, we're not experts, we're just sharing. The idea of investing is putting money where where you are knowledgeable in. You have a field that you're knowledgeable in. Perhaps you come from a family of teachers. We're talking about the basic chef. Or kutengesa uri pamusika unokwanisa kutengesa madomasi, onion, freezes, sweets, tungori simple like the simple stuff. Or uno printer, pamwe kumba kune printer, you can actually buy bond paper, you can print. The idea of tapping into investment is that we're trying to eliminate that factor yatinogara ichitaura kuti handina capital. Capital won't fly from the sky and land into your hands. Capital because we're working with so many factors against us, and we have to navigate through these factors. So what we're trying to say is that pane the little that you earn, save enough to invest in what you really want to do. So be it zvatambotaura kuti pangamsika pamwe ibhero, someone anokwanisa kunza bhero kubva kuMozambique. Someone who's into horticulture, anoita zvemadomasi, unoita maseedlings ako, unorima domasi rako isa pamarket. Those small things, tap into that, save enough to invest into those things, and then from those things, I think this will be for another episode. Tichazoibata zvedu kuti pane izvo zvacho zvaunenge waita invest in. How do you go about dealing with the funds that come from there? Because there is a belief here kuti the first paycheck tinonogocha kakati ako tingashaye kana poki $50 here timbononakirwa timbodya.
Definitely. Marco, have you ever been in a position where like you say you walk into a room, right, and you see something and you be like, when did I buy this?
Exactly.
What was I thinking when I bought this? What was the purpose of me buying that? Something like that. So it's sort of like, it's that word at the back of your head that then tells you to think twice before making non-essential purchases.
Exactly. I think this is the foundation of it all. Kungovane awareness yekuziva kuti
exactly
mari yangu yandinayo iri shoma kudaro with the long list of things that I have ndakakwanisa kukanzura zvisiri essential ndikasiya zviri essential. I managed to squeeze and compress the list such that you don't bump into something like Kelly said you would not tatambosvika sei pakuzoti tizotenga chinhu.
So guys, what we are just basically saying is, as young people, we've got the platform to make our lives better. Maybe some of these things were not taught to us growing up. Maybe these are things we got to figure out whilst we were, say, some years older. Guys, retirement everybody tipping something, you know.
Exactly.
Let's find ourselves there. Let's find ourselves in wherever. I don't know if there'll be a beach at the moon. Let's be there together, guys.
As Zimbabweans, so, young Zimbabweans.
As Zimbabweans, let's be there. We need to fight for our future. We are the future. Exactly. If we don't fight for it, who's gonna fight it for us?
Exactly. I always say this with Kelly. Good solutions won't come modeling towards you, or opportunities. They won't come modeling and presenting themselves and saying, I am opportunity, will you take me? No. We should go out there.
Yes.
Let's be aggressive.
Yes, that's very true. Because if they presented it that way, then everybody would have their problem solved.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's very true, Miss Kelly. Opportunity.
Yes. So Marco, I wanted to make a final ask.
Yes.
Someone is listening to us right now. And they've made a decision that they want to transform their lives financially. They feel they want to take this roadmap to financial literacy, to take this financial literacy journey. What can you tell those people? How can we help them to the best version of themselves financially?
Right.
This you can be telling me. You can be telling yourself. This you can be telling someone who's not in this room.
All right.
What can you tell someone?
All right. So you're out there. You've made a decision that you want to change for the better. You want to start living in sneka intention. So kamari kawe na ikako udauti katange kuita se kubatika. First thing is first, get a pen and paper. I am a believer in taking and making things, having them written down. Write out your plan. Where do you want to go? Write out the destination. Have the end in mind. Where do you want to be? From there, start planning with the little that you have. If it's reaching out to those big people that you know are in the field, those people who you know that they know, but maybe you're afraid of talking to them or anything like that. Push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you will not roll out of it. Believe you me, you will not roll out of that comfort zone. You have to stand up and walk. Go and ask them. If it's going to be volunteering wherever they are, just make an interest. Show that you are really passionate in the field. No matter how small it is, it might be a small store come seeker. It might be someone in the congregation who has a farm. It might be someone who has a lab. Someone who is doing what you want to do. Just swallow the pride pill. You might be thinking of yourself as very boastful and the likes, but just humble yourself. Reach out to them. You have your written plan. You know where you want to be. Explain why you want to get there, and start making a plan. If it's if you already have a financial setup, or if you have funds that are already trickling in, try the principles like we were mentioning from The Richest Man in Babylon. Any principle can work as long as it's practical. Start setting aside money for investing in what you want to do, in what you believe in. If you're going to set 10% aside, if you're going to set 20% aside, train yourself to live below your means, like Miss Kelly said.
So a cherry on top, guys. Celebrate small wins too. Yes. Remember, starting a financial literacy journey is a process. Take it one step at a time, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Yes. Marco, it has been great chatting with you, buddy.
Thank you so much for your time, Miss Kelly. And from us at the K&M podcast, thank you so much for being a part of our pilot episode, being a part of the financial literacy episode. We hope that you stay tuned and you join us in our next episode. We'll be keeping you posted. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely afternoon.